Today on episode 30 of the Reaper Paranormal Show, The Exorcism of Julia. Stay tuned. Hey, thank you for joining us today. I'm Roy, and I am joined by my co-host, as always, an PIT member, Tom. What's going on, bud?
Nothing. What's up, Roy? How are you today, man?
Cold.
I'll take it, though. The heat breaking finally, man. Now, it's been brutal here. It has been brutal, man.
Every day leaving.
What's up?
Every day leaving work, getting in my car was reading 101, 103.
Yep.
This is at 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, man.
Yep. Well, technically, that is the hottest point of the day, 3 to 4. But it's this humidity, man. It's like walking from a building to your car into the house. You're just drenched because of the humidity. It's like I hate that feeling. When it broke yesterday, it was crazy, man, because it rained pretty much all day yesterday, on and off, but it was overcast all day. But there was tons of people out because the heat at finally was comfortable enough to be outside. So people were outside again because nobody was out for those, the earlier part of the week. It was brutal, man. We were inside our place, we have these little guns to take temperature inside to make sure it's not getting to an unsafe level. And it reads the humidity too. And we were getting reads of like 94, 95 in the building and with 86% humidity. It just gross, man. Just absolutely gross. So
that is horrible.
I will take the rain.
I'm with you. Most definitely. So we have a good episode today. The Exorcism of Julia.
Yes. I stumbled across this, the story a few weeks back, and I was like, "Ooh, this would be a fun one to do." I just put it on the list because we both have lists of stuff that we're going to touch upon in future, and then I was like, "It'd be cool" because we've touched on exorcisms, but we've never really just gone a little in depth into exorcism or what exorcism really are all about. So this is going to be a really fun episode, I think.
I think so too. It's exorcisms. I think a lot of people know what they are, but they're misunderstood in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's this controversy of does anybody really get possessed? Is it illness? So with the paranormal, nothing's set in stone. It's all conjecture. It's all just theory. So an exorcism definitely falls into that category. And you think about even the Catholic Church, it was hush-hush for so long. Well, why was it hush-hush? Was it because of the paranormal or because you didn't even know if it was real? You know what I mean? It's like for a long time, they didn't want anyone to know about it. So
Yeah, I find them fascinating. Like you said, it's, there's Hollywood exorcisms, and then there's the real deal. And it's, that Hollywood obviously takes aspects of what a real exorcism is like, but it's Hollywoodized, it's made more exciting and whatever. But exorcisms are really interesting and really, I'm really excited about checking this out and seeing your thoughts on exorcisms too, because it's, I don't know. I go back and forth with this.
Well, they're so tough because, I'm gonna go over about exorcism in a second, but it's we just don't know. I mean, we don't know what that person's thinking. We don't know if that person's crazy, or we don't know if they have mental issues. Unless you can diagnose a person, which when they're freaking out and going crazy, it's hard to diagnose them. Well, for me, it would be a doctor might be able to, but I'm just seeing a crazy person. No, I'm guessing there's some things that, in theory, the person can do where, unless they did a lot of research and a lot of training, there's no way they would know certain things or be able to say certain things. But even then, how do I know they didn't do research for 20 years? You know what I mean? It's like, how do you know?
Yeah, and one of the big struggles for me too, and I struggle with this when it comes to certain paranormal aspects and religion, because I'm not a religious guy, don't really buy into it too much, and so that's where I think I struggle the most with these exorcisms is that, you know, the religion aspect of it. So
well, it'd be interesting to see if you get any issues on any of our cases.
yeah.
Oh, and I only say that because, like, we do a prayer before each case, and they say as long as you have a belief in something, I could hold this coffee container, and if I believe this will protect me, it'll protect me because I have the belief, you know. But that'd be a good episode too, discussing, you know, how would you consider yourself an atheist, or just don't believe in God in himself?
It's, you know,
I'll go down the rabbit hole.
it's morphed throughout the years from like definitive atheist to sort of more agnostic, back to atheism, back to agnostic. I mean, I guess I was raised Catholic, Roman Catholic. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think that's right. Irish Roman Catholic. Yeah. So, you know, like, and I have family members that, you know, go to church and stuff like that. It just, so I honestly don't, you know, I don't really think about it too much anymore. I guess it's like, I guess I would say agnostic. It's or if you're gonna hold the gun to my head, it's like I don't really believe. So I guess that would be an atheist. But I hope there is. I hope there's an afterlife or a heaven, a hell, or whatever, or at least a heaven. I hope I don't care about a hell, but you know, that would be nice. But do I necessarily think it? No, not really at this moment. So,
All right.
how about you?
Yeah, I believe in God. I believe there's a higher being.
Higher
I
power.
don't know if God's his name, or I believe in a higher being.
Yeah.
Whether it be aliens, you know, I believe something's up there watching us, for good or bad, you know.
Well, that's you know, that's a lot of people have claimed that Jesus was an alien. So it's it's out there.
All right. On that note, let's get into the Exorcism of Julia.
Yeah.
Get this going here. So, what is an exorcism? And it's basically a religious or spiritual practice of evicting demons or other spiritual entities from a person or an area that is believed to be possessed. And scientifically, a demonic possession is not recognized medically. And the symptoms of possession can easily be simplified as mental illness. And some of those mental illnesses could be a manic syndrome, hysteria, psychosis, Tourette syndrome, which is a big one, epilepsy, schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, and there is a demonomania and a demonopathy. Say that fast 5 times. Demonopathy, where patients believe they are possessed. Now, those last two I never heard of before, personally. And again, that's where the problems come in, because, you know, if you believe you're possessed, if you believe it, and I believe our brains are amazing muscles, and if you believe it, you can make it true. Does it mean there's actually a demon in you? No, but in your mind, it's true.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, Can you have demonomania or demonopathy without having one of the other psychoses? I don't know. But if that's possible, and if you believe it, well, then it's true. I mean, for you,
Yeah.
So, but what's your opinion on these?
I don't know. Honestly, I mean, because like you said, there's a lot, of sort of disorders of the mind and
Yeah, these are just some of them.
yeah, but they some of the things that we associate with a demonic possession, um, they have the similar traits to an epilepsy, Tourette syndrome. Um, y- uh, then you get into like people seeing things, and we know, schizophrenia. You have auditory and visual hallucinations. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna hold a gun to my head, I would say it's probably something like that. Just because I'm kind of a skeptic until I see one firsthand and can kind of make my own opinion because I'm there, or or seeing something that I know is not doctored or whatever. Then maybe I can be changed, because I always say that. Yeah, I want to be changed. I can't. My mind can be changed. It just, I need that sort of firsthand proof.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
I'm on the fence. I think anything's possible, but I have to believe most of the time it's definitely somebody with a mental illness. Do I think it's possible some people have been possessed? Sure.
Yeah.
Do I think I also don't believe every place you go to investigate that people say, like off the top of my head, the Velisca house in the Midwest, if I'm saying it correctly, um, that's supposed to be possessed by a demonic entities there. Do I believe that? No. I don't believe that at all. Do I believe spirits could be there? Yes.
Yeah.
Why I don't believe the demonic? I don't have a reason for that. I just think if it's paranormal, if it's not paranormal, there has to be a rational explanation. If it is paranormal, we got to do more studies on it, which have been going on for 100 years. And I don't think we've came a lot further than when they probably first started.
Yeah.
Which begs the question: is it or isn't it? Well, that's why I have a team. That's why you probably came on the team to find out.
Yeah, for sure it is. Anakin's trying to get into the hot sauces.
He's been quiet all day doing a show now. Now he's gonna start getting into everything. Get out of there! Hey!
Yeah.
Stop.
He wants those hot sauces for some reason. All of
He
a
hasn't
sudden,
touched them. They've been there for weeks. He hasn't touched them.
yeah, he's a funny dude.
He's just because I'm in the middle of recording something, so he's been a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this Julia exorcism.
Yeah. So the Exorcism of Julia. Now she's called Julia. That is not a real name. That's a pseudonym given by Dr. Richard Gallagher, so she can remain anonymous. Obvious, he's a doctor, medical HIPAA, those HIPAA laws you're very familiar with, I'm sure, Roy, working in the medical field. So yep, so we will refer to her as Julia, and this is a case that Dr. Richard Gallagher, a Yale graduate, board certified psychiatrist, took part in, and sort of changed his mind on exorcisms and stuff like that. He works at Columbia University, another Ivy League school, and as well as New York Medical College, and he always considered himself to be a man of science. But it has come out later that he is also religious. he is also he was religious before this case too. Yeah, it wasn't known too much before the case how religious he was, but he was fairly religious before going in. But he still considered himself a man of science, and look as you've seen more modern popes say and stuff, that faith and science can coexist. That's sort of his belief, that faith and science can coexist. I believe Pope Francis said it. I'm sure John Paul said something similar. That you can have both in this world. So he's been a part of. I've read different accounts, but most say over 50 different exorcisms now in his career. But this is the one that stays with him, his most famous, and again, the one that sort of changed his belief in this whole demonic possession and everything like that. So he was approached by or this female. She was recommended to him, Julia. She had been, her family and herself, they've been seeking help kind of through the church on saying she was possessed. She was possessed by a demon. So the church, and I'm sure, Roy, you can attest to this. They try to avoid exorcisms at first. It's not like they're doing these willy-nilly. You know what I mean? They try to avoid them. An exorcism is considered pretty much a last chance, I can't think of the phrase, but yeah, fuck. It's like the last option. It's the last. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart, but yeah, it's considered the last option. So they recommended it to this psychiatrist, Richard Gallagher, who is again a Yale Ivy League graduate, board certified psychiatrist. So he met with Julia. She came in and he said, pretty girl, wore like dark eyeshadow. The way he described her, what we would consider goth now, is kind of how she came in, goth.
When was this?
It's so vague.
I couldn't find anything either when I was reading the article.
80s-ish,
Okay.
80s, because it kind of ties in with, I think, the Satanic Panic a little bit of the 80s. So she comes in, introduce herself, whatever, and right away knows things about Richard the doctor, that she obviously shouldn't, and says, she asked him about, she goes, so how were those cats last night? And he was stunned because the night before, his two cats got into this crazy fight where they tore up part of the house and everything like that. It was a big issue with him and his family, and that was one of the first things she says after introducing himself. And then in a little bit starts talking about how his mother has ovarian cancer. So now he's right off the rip, now like minutes into meeting this woman, he is like, what is going on? Because again, he considered himself a man of science. He thought he was gonna, he thought he was just gonna sit down with her and sort of diagnose whether it was the DID, which is also known as multiple personality disorder, whatever, it's got a lot of terms, or Tourette's or something like that. He thought it was going to be a pretty quick, boom, and she right off the bat. So he starts seeing her, like a psychiatrist does. I see a psychiatrist, meeting with her and getting to know her, and he starts seeing there's basically two Julias. There's the nice sort of, goth looking girl that, just your average young lady. But then she would, go into these states where she would, her voice would change. It would get deeper, more guttural, and she would claim to be a demon or something, possessed, and she would know languages that she shouldn't, like Two I know specifically that she was like, when she was so under or whatever, Latin and Spanish fluently Latin and Spanish. So so as they're seeing each other more, he is coming to this conclusion that he cannot believe, that he thinks that she's actually possessed. He's convinced of it now, and he starts to make the phone calls and to different priests, and they're trying to get like the preeminent exorcist priest in the United States to go. But at first he gets with some local priests. There's an incident actually in a car. They're all driving to a location to, do some like pre-exorcism things and like pray and stuff like that. And she's in the back seat, and all of a sudden she's her voice gets really deep, and she's like kicking the seats and everything. She causes a car accident. She's at one point, the priests are yelling from the front seat, "Let her go, you demon! Let her go!" or whatever a priest says. And she's said, "Leave her alone, you stupid monkey priests," and just has a lot of vitriol for these priests and whatever, and again causes the car accident. So another, now more than ever, Dr. Gallagher here is absolutely convinced that not only does she need an exorcism, she needs an exorcism like yesterday. So, excuse me. Oh, I had sushi earlier. So they so they make the arrangements to get this preeminent exorcism priest, the preeminent in the United States. And she's in the room, they're talking, he's still having a session, he's still counseling throughout all of this. And this is when she kind of admits that, the reason she doesn't think any of the previous exorcisms worked was she let this demon in. And now he's like, what? And it calls in another priest. Now they're all three, not the big exorcism priest, but another one, and they're all talking. And it turns out that she had, was kind of lonely, and she met some people, and they were in a satanic cult, so she kind of joined, and just to, for a sense of community and to make some friends or whatever. I guess she wasn't too popular, and she really liked that sense of community, and started dating a guy within the cult, and then she got more and more involved, and she became more and more popular because she's a smart girl. They kind of looked up to her, and she kind of rose through the ranks of this satanic cult to becoming essentially what they call, she was called the queen of the cult. And in doing so, when she did become the queen, for whatever her previous title was, she allowed a demon. They spoke with Satan, and she allowed herself to be possessed. So,
who would ever do that? Like, boy,
right?
what circumstances that your life has to suck that bad that, in theory, you're gonna let a demon inside you? You know what I mean? Like how bad does your life suck? You're gonna let yourself be possessed, whether you believe it or not. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds like one of these things that you see it where people, seemingly very normal people end up in cults and stuff. It sounded like it kind of happened slowly.
Yeah,
and it was just like, little by little, until all of a sudden she was like the queen of a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, brainwashed.
Yeah, a little bit. That sense, it's the mind's a very weird thing. It really is. It's a very
no sane person would let a demon in them, whether you believe it or not. Like, why would you even mess with that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Unless you have issues.
That's crazy if you ask me. And so that's kind of why she doesn't think it's happening. So anyway, so now they get back with, they've got the it's scheduled now with this preeminent exorcist. I don't even know what to call him. Exorcism priest, and they got a schedule. Exorcist.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she's in there, and they're having a session right beforehand, and she goes into one of her states, and this deep voice and everything, and starts yelling and how she doesn't want to do it and all this stuff. And then he gets her out of it, and he starts to think that she can almost like astral project, and he wants to see if she can control these before they meet with this exorcism priest. So they start doing stuff, and he finds that she kind of can. And one of the things she can do is, and he called it astral projection, and I don't know if that's 100% the right term, but I will tell you the story. So she, he asked her to do it. They're in the session that night, and she says she can see the exorcist, and he's walking down the beach wearing khaki pants and a blue windbreaker. So this is where Dr. Gallagher thought he's like a gutter, like there's no, a gutter now. She got too specific, like he was thinking, because she had gotten specific before, but it was more generalities than anything else. So he thought he got her at this point. So he goes, all right, he calls him up right on the phone. And he goes, he starts talking to him. He goes, hey, where are you right now? And, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, well, I had a cancellation. I guess he was supposed to do like a one-on-one counseling with somebody. I had a cancellation, and it was a nice day. So I decided to take a walk on the beach, and he goes, okay, so what are you wearing? And he goes, why do you ask? And he goes, I'm just testing something, or I just want to see something. Why? What are you wearing? He's like, well, I'm wearing khaki pants. He's like, oh, okay, well, everybody wears khaki pants. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's like, whatever, not thinking anything of it. He goes, all right, what else? And he goes, well, because it was the beach and there's a nice breeze today, I put on my windbreaker. Well, what color is it? Light blue. She had every detail down, every detail. And he had been asking, why do you ask? And right after he says the blue windbreaker, he goes, blue windbreaker. He goes, oh, I know why you're asking. You're with Julia. So he, because he had been made aware of Julia. Mm-hmm. So now,
that sound in the background, that's thunder.
Yeah, I got it here too.
Just heard it. If you have rumbling, you can listen to the show later.
Give it some ambiance.
Right. It is kind of perfect timing.
Yeah. So now we get to this exorcism with this guy, this very famous exorcist, and it's supposedly very, very, very just crazy, typical. They start with the prayers and just stuff. Stuff starts going pretty crazy, and stuff flying off walls. She's speaking in, like I said, Latin and Spanish, but other languages as well. Just yelling at the priest, calling a monkey priest that she's gonna kill, and all this stuff. And then at one point begins to levitate about 6 to 10 inches off the bed, and stays like that for over a half hour. Levitated 6 to 10 inches off the bed. So, and then, they continue to do the exorcism. It ends. They, not too sure what the results are. Dr. Gallagher doesn't think they're successful. He does not at this point think they're successful. So he's hopeful. Obviously, they're all hopeful, and so he meets with Julia a couple more times, and it becomes evident that whatever the issue is, it's not fixed. It's not gone or whatever. And but she decides to stop seeing him. She's just yep, she's done. She's gonna go back to the cult. She misses her friends, whatever. They tried, she thanked them, but that was the end of it.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just really strange. It's a very abrupt end to this story because it's like you don't hear too much more. According to Dr. Gallagher, he only heard from her like 2 or 3 more times, not much. She had called once and she was back in the cult, and then she called, so I think it was only twice. She called about a year after the final exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
And just told him that she was dying of ovarian cancer, and that was it. And we don't hear, he never talks to her again, and we don't hear anything about her since. And like I said, it's kind of hard because we're going on a pseudonym, you know. Julia, she's only known as Julia, so yeah, that's kind of where the story ends. And it's just like,
weird ending.
Yeah, it's so abrupt. It's just like, because you hear these stories and you either want a good ending or you want a bad ending. Whatever it is, you want an ending, happy or sad, and you don't really get any closure with it, aside from the fact that this made, you know, obviously, you know, the priest and the exorcist, they all believed it. But this made this Yale, you know, Ivy League educated, board certified psychiatrist completely believe that that demonic possession and Satan, and it was all real and it could all happen. And like I said, he's gone on to work on over 50 different exorcisms with different people in the church and everything like that. And it's, yeah, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a strange ending to it, but I really like this story because it like I said, I go both ways, you know, like I want it to be true, kind of, even though, I mean, do you really want demonic possession to be true? I mean,
yeah, why not?
But I want it to be the true in the sense that I don't want the things that people just made this up.
Right.
And, you know, that's the kind of why I want it to be true. And it's
well, it's funny because like I told this story before, like when I got into paranormal, I always said, you know, I'm not so sure about the whole demonic hauntings. You know, you watch some of the TV shows, and maybe we'll do an episode on them at some point. But like every episode, they find something demonic, and it's like, how is that possible? No, I do know they go into specific places, and in theory, yeah, I guess you could, but I'm not buying it personally. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just not buying it until I see it for myself, like you. I do believe it could be out there, but I think it's rare.
Yeah.
I also, you know, hear that people get possessed all the time, and I was always like, yeah, I don't believe that at all. And you know, there was a time when I thought something was my dog whining. Someone's here. My dog whining. When we were doing a walk, all right, let's pause for a minute. Stop! Jesus. Rachel and Shelby must be home. We'll take it off. When we were doing a paranormal walk, we were going up to the attic, and I told the story before where I felt like I was having a heart attack. I started sweating suddenly. I was getting winded suddenly. And I wasn't saying anything. I just thought, I'm going to die on these stairs. That's what I felt like. And then all of a sudden, everything just stopped. And then it started to the person behind me. And she was saying the same. She was speaking about, because she was just a person on the walk.
Yeah.
She started verbaging what was happening. So, and I'm like, that happened. I'm thinking to myself, that happened to me. And the only thing I could think of was something was trying to attach to us. Mm-hmm. And I say it because The house is very haunted. Some nice things we believe are there, and that sort of thing. Pause for one more second. I need to give Shelby something. Where's she going? Shelby, where are you? What's over here? Go. Yeah, but hey, go. It's my baby birthday. Happy birthday. I'm thinking he's only. I'll give him my chicken if you want. No problem. I got it. I didn't get Shelby anything for her birthday, so I just gave her some money.
Oh, that's nice.
Shelby was working today, so Rachel picked her up. That's why whenever he sees an Almquist, he freaks out.
Yeah.
Like,
How old is it? How old is she?
She just turned 18.
Wow, it's crazy.
She got her paperwork for her shot, and she goes, I don't think I'm gonna tell my mother till after I get the shot. But yeah, don't tell her anything till after you get the shot, because she's trying to get you into not getting the shot. Because she's like, I'm getting the shot. Screw her.
Oh,
yeah, Chris is anti-shot. Chris thinks if Shelby gets the shot, she won't be able to have kids. Shelby's like, 1, I don't want kids, and 2, I don't believe her. I'm like, yeah, your mother's just getting stuff off the dark web. I think whatever she listens to on the internet, she's getting all the information off the internet. And I'm like, whatever she's listening to is fucked. Because like Linda and another girl, she sends all these stuff to from certain web pages, and they're like, "These are kind of freaky web pages." It's like I wouldn't be going to those websites. It's like a cult type of thing. I'm like, yeah, because it's all fake news crap and people that are making stuff up.
I find it so like, yeah, I don't know if I would get along with her. I find it crazy that because you like I know you don't buy into most of that any of that shit,
yeah.
And you're friends with her, because it's like
she's a good person.
Like around her.
I think what's going on is for the most part, Tim was a good guy, but he's in. Well, let's finish the show first.
Yeah. I was gonna say yeah. Let's.
But anyway, I don't know where I left off, but we'll just stop it there. We'll just end the show here, and unless you have more stuff to talk about.
Let me just check, make sure I got everything. I think I did. Yeah, I'm good. I am good.
Yeah, so I'll have to delete a big chunk of this at the end of this thing.
Yeah, about like 4 minutes, honestly. That's it was like because you got up and start. Yeah.
But all right. So next week's show, we're gonna have an open discussion about some paranormal topics. Tom and I are gonna do something different again, and then we'll get back to telling more stories because I like that was a good story. I really enjoyed that story. But if people watch this episode, if you have questions for us or you want us to discuss something on the podcast next week, you can email me at parareaper01@gmail.com. That's PARAREAPER01@gmail.com. You can message us on YouTube, Geek Perspective. Facebook, you can reach us at Reaper Paranormal Investigations. Twitter, you can reach us at the Reaper Paranormal Show. And you can reach us on Instagram at Geek Perspective also. So, yeah, if you guys have questions, you want us to talk about something, open forum, figure me and Tom will probably pick a couple topics, something fun, maybe something we haven't done, something we want to talk about, just to kind of change it up a bit, give you guys some different things here and there, and see what goes on and what's happening. Maybe at some point we'll do a live show.
Yes, that would be fun. Sorry,
I know some people would listen to that.
I'm trying to get all of.
Yeah, that's right.
All the different banners. I was trying.
Yep, they're at the bottom of the screen.
So
Tom was putting up all the banners. The banners.
I wish you could like scroll them like all. I got to switch from one to the next to the
Yeah, I
next.
tried to do that, put them all on there, but I
It probably
couldn't
take
space them
away
out far enough. Was that?
I was gonna say maybe probably take away too much of the screen, right? If you try to put all of them on one.
I thought I tried it. Well, they just revised it. It might work now. I tried it at one point, and it didn't look right. It was like too close together.
Yeah,
it looked like one long sentence. I was like, nah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But yeah, just one,
But yep, if you're watching this, the bottom of the screen, they're all going to be popping up. So, also, guys, we're trying to get out there. So, thank you for listening to this episode of the Reaper Paranormal Show. Remember, next week, open discussion. If you want to hit us up, you can ask some questions, and we'll talk about some cool stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching us on iTunes, make sure that, or Apple Podcasts rather, make sure you follow us. It's free. And if you want to go to our website and listen to some past episodes or the recent episode, you can go to www.podpage.com, The Reaper Paranormal Show, and you can go to our webpage and subscribe and follow and listen to our episodes and have a good time. Watch them with the family with the lights out. Get spooky, scared. All right? So for Tom and myself, guys, thank you for listening. You guys have a good holiday. Happy 4th of July.